Today I'm talking with thought leader Jeff Curtis to share ideas and insights with the entertainment, events, and sports community. Jeff is the CEO of the iconic Portland Rose Festival Foundation, and prior to joining the foundation over 22 years ago, he worked in professional sports sponsorship. So Jeff, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Happy to talk and share a little insight down here in Portland, Oregon.
Jeff, how are you integrating your partners into some of the virtual events that you're doing?
I'm very proud that the Rose Festival team, staff, and volunteers, we had a virtual opening night on May 22nd. Virtual meaning Facebook Live. We produced a 1-hour experience, and it was a tremendous success, nearly 10,000 viewers. We are basically trying to incorporate as many partners as we can. Certainly our premier sponsors. We have 5 high-level engaged partners, 5 of a total of 50 or so Rose Festival sponsors in the context of our total sponsor portfolio. But there's 5 premier sponsors, and those 5 are integrated in everything we're doing, whether it be logo representation or things of that nature. And it's just one benefit of many that we can do, but it's not to substitute for the event themselves, but it's really trying to tell the story that thank you to those sponsors for allowing Rose Festival to happen every year. And that's the message and the platform we're delivering. And an example of what we did is on our local Fox affiliate, we rebroadcast last year's parades and integrated a 30-second commercial. And it was just a really subtle, nice message. Say, Rose Festival's been there for 100 years. We'll be there again in the future. And thank you to these partners for their support. And doing so in an advanced way, so when we do have the challenging conversations of not delivering benefits, we're going to point to a story of how their support is propelling the future of Rose Festival. So that's a sampling of how we're integrating our premier sponsors.
So you mentioned that you have 5 key sponsors and then somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 other sponsors that support the Rose Festival. And so I'm curious, can you tell us how are you approaching those sponsors in this given situation, and how are they responding to you?
Our whole effort is to engage in a conversation that allows us to have support without remedy. And that's basically what that means is we're trying to convince our clients and sponsors, all of our friends, to say, we needed you, we need your support. And without remedy meaning without having to pay their money back or even deferring for next year. That's the primary goal. Doesn't mean we'll each reach that level of success with all of those sponsors. So individually customizing is really the goal. That's not a new theory in sponsorship development. It's not a cookie cutter A, B, or C. It's individualized, customized selling of sponsorships. It's the same concept, and this is what we need to do. We need to customize and integrate every one of our sponsor conversations in a different way. So the tactics behind that is a script written out in advance, preparation for every conversation. It doesn't matter if they're a large 6-figure sponsor or a small 5-figure sponsor, does not matter. Having a conversation strategy that helps you deliver your story and your message. And our message to our sponsors is thank you. We've been with you for years. We've delivered a great sponsorship solution for you. We'll do that in the future. But right now we need your help. And planning that conversation to go a couple different ways. Scenario 1 is, yes, possibly we might have to give them their money back, or B, we might have to defer their money for next year. But hopefully the conversation goes well enough, you're going to have enough success that you won't have to do that.
So Jeff, from an industry perspective and with a bit more focus on community events, let's talk about the various options for working with current sponsors, assuming we're working outside of the contract. How are you approaching them at this time?
There's a couple of different solutions. First of all, it's partnership-based, it's people-based, it's candid and honest conversation with our sponsors, explaining what the situation and trying to provide some solutions for to show your interest in their particular business need. So here's some things that I think are on the table for that conversation. First one is can you extend value to sponsors outside what you normally do during a festival experience, in our case, to a different time of year? Can you do that? Can you offer something else? That's different than just a deferment to the following year, basically a cut and paste of that agreement and move it to the next year. That's a solution for sure, and better than returning money in a cash refund situation. So you could do that, although not the most ideal remedy, because it hurts you down the road, doesn't solve the overall liquidity challenges with sponsorship dollars and spending the dollars now under operations, but it's something you could do. Or in the case of nonprofits, which are an extremely advantage in this particular strategy, is to treat their sponsorship almost like you would a philanthropic gift and say, thank you. We're going to acknowledge you in the form of a thank you, but we really need those dollars to help us for this, build a community celebration in the future. Because this is being honest with them. Tell them it has a devastating effect on your bottom line, this pandemic. Not being able to produce a festival in the way you had hoped. Tell the story, share the numbers, and ask them. They can say no, but ask them to think of their sponsorship more as a philanthropic gift to the community. So those two solutions, whether it be extend some benefits a different time of year, complete something different, added value, make goods, or an outright contribution of donation, is what the two I would focus on as strategies as you're building scripts with sponsors and provide solutions for them.
How else do you think sponsorship marketing is going to change in the future? And I'm also curious, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a sponsorship sales leader on how to prepare for that?
I think here's a couple of thoughts on that question. It's quite possible you will see greater collaboration within other events or other properties. First of all, there may be less of them out there. Some, especially small nonprofit events, won't survive COVID-19. I think that will benefit those that have the ability to partner with other events and cross-sell events in a more partnership-based way with other, not just yourself, selling other events and like, for example, that'd be, if I was using Portland as an example, Rose Festival selling 2 or 3 other events as part of selling Rose Festival. At the end of the day, as we're moving beyond what I hope to learn and move forward on is to refresh the face of Rose Festival in a way that represents our meaning to the community versus just a standard deliverable of benefits to a sponsor. I think we already knew this, that we have a value in our community, more of a social value. And how do we measure that? And how do we tell our story? That's going to be true. That's going to be really important to selling future Rose Festival sponsorships and properties, is how we present ourselves and our value in the community, and versus just a return on a benefit on a stage sign of things of that nature.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for all of your time and your insights and your ideas. Great information today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. It's just fun to talk and visit and share the art of sponsorship.